Absolutely amazing marathon plan for y'all. We are starting hot with Spyro, and the day does not stop from there. It is just jam-packed. Our schedule's right there. You can see it in the Twitch page. If you want to join us and come hang out, we also have the Discord rolling. We're going to be posting those links throughout the day. And if you're wondering, we are here raising money for charity. This event is a fundraiser. We're going to be raising money for Assemble Pittsburgh. So we're going to be raising money to actually help pay for an after-school program here in the local area. So it's going to be completely free for the kids, but in order to be able to run that, someone's got to pay for it, and that's what we're going to be doing. So we're starting off strong. Like I said, my name is Alara, by the way. I think I forgot to introduce myself. Hi. And I'm here with a friend. Would you like to say hello?
Hello. Hi, I'm Deg, also here. I don't know.
Okay, so we have a bunch of games that are packed and ready to go. And like I said, you're not here to see me. You're here to see some speed runs. So let's get ready, and I'm going to pass it off to our fantastic host and runner. You are going to be in the capable hands of Toronite for the first chunk of the day, and we're going to be seeing Spyro Reignited Trilogy, run by chaimyyyy. Host, runner, the stage is yours.
Hello everybody, I'm chaimyyyy. I'm here running Spyro Reignited Trilogy. We're doing a category called 80% NBS. Yeah, nothing too crazy about it. I assume we are all good to go, and then oh, okay. All right. So timing's gonna start in 3, 2, 1, go. Alright, so this is SRT. Like I said, Spyro Reignited Trilogy. It's just a collection of the original 3 games all packed into one. It's a remaster. It's a really cool game. A lot of cool tricks and movement text that we have in the game. And we're actually gonna start it off here with a skip called Nestor Skip. Normally, if you just run and touch this dragon, you have this whole 30-second cutscene that you can't skip through. But if we just jump as we hit them, we can just spam triangle to skip the dragon cutscene, and it ends up working. Don't really know why it works like that, but it does work like that. So the whole purpose of this category is to beat the game, obviously, but we want to beat the game getting as like the bare minimum required to get through the game and get through the progression system. So there are 6 homeworlds in total. We are currently in the first one. In order to leave the first homeworld, we need a total of 10 dragons. By the second homeworld, we need 1,200 gems. The third homeworld, we need 5 dragon eggs. The fourth homeworld, we need 50 dragons. And then by the time we leave the 5th homeworld to reach the final homeworld, we need 6,000 gems. So a lot of this category is just routed around getting gems, or getting the fastest possible gems and getting as many as we can on the way to each dragon that we collect throughout the game. And just like that, we're gonna leave our first level. Nothing too crazy going on in that level. But we're about to go into the second level, Town Square, and there is actually a little trick here in this next level called Fairy Proxy, and it's like right at the very start, pretty much. So I'll go ahead and explain it. I'll go ahead and explain it real fast, so you understand what's happening when it happens. Basically, whenever we save a dragon, a little fairy will come out. Her name is Zoe, and she's meant to be like the little checkpoint system. And this is the only dragon in the game that we can actually do this, but Zoe, we can actually get on top of her hitbox because the dragon that we skip, it also retains a hitbox. It's really weird and wonky, but we basically can teleport on top of Zoe and jump towards the end of the level to get to another dragon a lot faster than the intended way. So we're about to do that right now. Ooh, okay. We stood in a slightly wrong spot, but we still managed to get it at least. Usually if you stand in the correct spot, you don't get flung up in the air like that. It's gonna... lose a tiny bit of time, but that's totally fine, champ. You know what I mean? We're just gonna keep collecting our silly little gems and getting through these levels. But yeah, we're about to be leaving this first homeworld, actually. The shortest homeworld that we have in the game. Besides the last homeworld, I guess. So, you want to take it away, Toro?
Absolutely, and hello everybody. I'm your host Toronite for your first few runs here at PGX for Steel City Speedsters, and as Alara mentioned earlier, we are raising money for Assemble Pittsburgh, and
We're ready to go?
And we are ready. I mean, we are ready to go because we have a $20 donation from Ellipsis saying, "Friends go fast, have fun this weekend," and that $20 is going to go to our first incentive, which is for our next run, which is for the short hike run that we got coming up after this for the over the ramp incentive. So we only need $30 total to meet that incentive. That $20 already puts us 2/3 of the way there, roughly. So now, we're only technically $9.99 away from meeting that incentive. If you are watching on Twitch, be sure to type in the chat !donate. That'll take you to our donation page, and make sure that your donation that you put down, that is going to the over the ramp incentive.
Ready? So we are here in Dry Canyon, the first level of this next homeworld called Peacekeepers. While entering this level, I actually went for a little trick that we wouldn't normally do in runs on all the levels I'm going to do it on. We would only do it on a certain few, but I'm going to do it to save as much RTA time as possible, so we can go for the RTA world record. I always do this in marathon runs. I say I'm going to go for the RTA world record, then I always forget to do it. I forgot to do it in the first homeworld. But we're doing it now. So it's a little trick called fly and skip. And what fly and skip basically does is the exact frame you enter a portal to load, or like to trigger the load for the level, if you hit pause, you can actually quit the game to go back to the main menu. And then you can continue your save file, and it puts you right at the very start of the game, or at the very start of the level that you're loading into. RTA, it saves a decent bit of time. In loadless, which is what we usually time on the PC leaderboard, it does save about 4 to 4.5 seconds, depending on which level, and we only do it on 3 levels. This is actually one of the levels we do it on. And we actually hit it on the first try, no pause buffer, which is nice, considering we are running this game at 50 FPS. And the reason we're running at 50 and not 60 or like 144 or anything like that is because this game is actually tied to FPS in a lot of ways, because the game's made on Unreal Engine. And on Unreal Engine made games, whenever your FPS is lower, you actually jump higher. So we want our FPS to be relatively lower than normal, so that way we can jump a little bit higher, give us a bit of help on certain jumps. It's not too important on SRT1, except for like a couple spots. There's probably going to be a spot later in the run where I actually will turn down my FPS to 30 FPS for like a few seconds just to make one jump. And we also don't want to have it at 60 FPS, because a level coming up in the next homeworld completely breaks and you cannot get through the level if you have an FPS value that is a multiple of 12. So 12, 24, 36, 48, 60, like that kind of stuff, right? If our FPS value is at like anything like that, the game will literally break and we can't progress through a level in the next homeworld. So we usually settle on 50, because also a few enemies at higher FPS drop their gems faster, which we want to collect gems as fast as we can. So 50 FPS tends to be like the very standard FPS for SRT1, whereas SRT2 and SRT3 tend to be at like 36 FPS to 30 FPS, somewhere in that range. But yeah, we're going to be going into our first of 3 flight levels. These are the only levels where we are actually flying as Spyro the Dragon. And yeah, it's pretty unique. We get 300 gems for a very short amount of time, and like I said, we want to get as many gems as possible as fast as we can. Takes about a minute on average. This is the longest one we do in the run. There are 4 different target items that we need to collect, and we need to collect 8 of each. And whenever we do, we can get 300 gems. So yeah, each 8 that we get will get us 60 gems. Therefore, that's 240. But if you do it all in one go, which we will be doing all in one go, you get an extra 60 gems as a bonus reward. So yeah, these levels aren't too crazy hard or anything. But do we have any other donations, Toro?
Well, as I had mentioned earlier, the donations that we are getting, they're all going to Assemble Pittsburgh. And you may be wondering what Assemble Pittsburgh is. Well, I'm glad you asked. Assemble is a community space in Pittsburgh's Garfield neighborhood that focuses on arts and technology. They use hands-on banker education to help people learn and get creative. Assemble's mission is to build confidence through making, empowering young people and adults alike. It's a place where artists, technologists, and makers come together with the community.
Yeah, so make sure we donate. Yay, champ. So we're going to be going into our first boss of the game, Dr. Shemp. Bosses in this game are actually kind of a joke. They're all basically the same, -1. You run at them, you flame them, then they run away. Then you run at them, you flame them, then they run away again. Then you run at them and flame them, and they're dead. That's pretty much how almost every single boss in this game works, a -1, but the one that's different we also don't even beat because we just are better than beating him, I guess. Plus he's cool, so we let him go. But yeah, there's not much going on in this level. We don't even fight the boss. This level just has like an insane amount of high value gems for this early on, and we can get a lot of them relatively quick, and we can also get a dragon, which we need. And that kind of brings me up to the main point of how our routing works. We basically route around gems because we know which dragons we're going to be grabbing. So basically we look at all the gems in between, like going from this dragon to that dragon, and see what we can collect, and if we need to go out of the way, how worth it are they. So we have this term called gems per second, or GPS, and we basically want to take gems, time it, how long it takes to get them, and if they reach a certain value, which I believe we have at like 4 to 4.5 gems per second, those would be considered good gems. There are gems in this game where like it seems like it's good because they are high value, maybe like in a small area, but like maybe it takes too long to go out of the way to go get them, so the gems end up not being worth it, really. And yeah, that's pretty much how all the routing works. The routing has changed a lot over the years since I've been playing. We are currently on this route, and this route is by far the hardest route that we've had so far for this category. And it's also really funny because this route and its predecessor were both named after a little dancing fox gif that I used to have on my stream. I didn't make the route, but the person who found the route just decided to name it after my little fox, and the fox's name was Stevenson. So this is currently Stevenson 2.0 route. Pretty cool. So yeah, we're just gonna keep going through this level. This tends to be one of the longer levels in the game, just in terms of like the amount of things that are going on. We collect, this is I think tied for the most amount of dragons we collect in one level. And yeah, we're also going for a little kill on that guy. That guy normally would take 2 hits to knock him off the ledge to kill him, but the way the game calculates killing him is his Y value. If his Y value changes in any way, the game just automatically assumes he's dead, because when you charge into him and get him on the edge kind of dips down a little bit, so the game understands like, oh, the Y value changed, So we're going to kill him and give the player the gem. But if we hit him at a certain angle, instead of having to hit him twice, we can actually just hit him once on
world if
top
you're
of
ready.
the chest. And if he lands on top of the chest, because his Y value changes, he just dies. So it's a neat little skip there. Very easy to do, but it's fun. And yeah, that's the second homeworld. Now going into the third homeworld, where we're going to introduce a new game mechanic. But it's a very interesting game mechanic, and it's what really gives SRT its identity, and that's supercharging. We're going to start seeing it in this very first level that we're going to do. So basically supercharging is there are just these like ramps that go down, and they have arrows on them. And if you, as Spyro, start charging down them, you actually get a huge boost of speed, and you actually ramp up speed over the course of a few seconds. And you can hold that speed as long as you don't bonk or die or anything like that. And you're basically indestructible and just run super duper fast. So the point of supercharges in these runs are to carry them as long as possible and collect as many things as we possibly can during supercharge. And the way we do that is we actually, on PC, we use keyboard and mouse, otherwise known as KBM strats. And it's not even like something that's broken about the game. It's more so like an oversight by the devs when they ported the game from console to PC. If we use our mouse to turn instead of like analog stick or WASD or D-pad or anything like that, we can actually turn a lot faster than we're supposed to, which allows us to do a lot of crazy things with it. And the first thing we're going to do here is a strat called Bite Caves. So hopefully this all goes pretty well. Sorry, it just takes a little bit of concentration on some of these parts. We are moving super duper fast. Alright, we got through the hard stuff there. Carry it just a little bit longer because we are super duper cool champ. And that's going to be the end of the level. And for reference, that is actually probably in terms of like a level supercharge and not a homeworld supercharge. That is probably the easiest supercharge we do. And it's really funny, because I remember when I first started playing this game, I remember it being super hard. It used to be like one of the hardest ones, I thought, but now it's like super duper easy. And now we're going into Alpine Ridge. This is a very cycle-based level. And if we're lucky, we get a free gem at the very start of the level. And I guess I should talk about a couple things I haven't talked about yet. I'm sorry, there's so much to this game to understand. So first of all, the gems. There are different colored gems. Each colored gem represents a different value. Red gems count as 1, green gems are 2, blue gems count as 5, then we have yellow gems, which count as 10, and then pink gems, which count as 25. We want to collect as many blues and pinks and yellows as we can. We accidentally messed up the cycle there, but that's totally fine. We will live. So yeah, we want to collect all the higher value gems as much as we can, assuming they're not too far out of the way. And then another little thing I need to talk about relating to gems is sparks. We have this little dragonfly following us, and if you've noticed, he actually collects gems for us if we are close enough. So while we have sparks, we don't have to actually worry about collecting the gems. We just have to worry about running near them. So we don't have to like genuinely like just step on every single one to collect them. And Sparks kind of has like 2 functions. The first one obviously is to collect gems that Spyro runs near, but the second one is to indicate health. So normally he's gold Sparks. Right now he's blue because I actually just took a hit there. So anytime you take damage, Sparks will change his color. So your full health at gold, at blue Sparks, you've taken 1 hit. At green Sparks, you've taken 2 hits. And then if you get hit while you have green sparks, you lose sparks. And then you die on the next hit. There are ways to gain more sparks. There are like little animals running around in the levels and homeworlds that if we kill, we actually get sparks back or can increase health. But basically, we want to have sparks as much as possible because he just helps collect gems. There's going to be a single spot in this game, or in this run, where we will actually go sparksless on purpose, assuming I don't die before going there. If I die before going there, then we will not end up being sparksless on purpose. But yeah. So now we're going into easily the second hardest split in the entire game, Wizard Peak. This is a more recent addition. This level has always been in the run, but we've updated the supercharged strat that we do in this level, and it's actually pretty dang difficult, champ. So hopefully we hit this. And like I said, this is only the second hardest split that we are going to be doing this game. Or second hardest level, I guess. This is where the supercharge starts, and hopefully it goes super well. Got a little hard part here. And then this is the part that's coming up, is about to be like a really hard part. So hopefully we do this right. Nice. Oh, we bonked there. We were going a little too fast. That's totally fine. But ultimately, that went like pretty well. The hard part about that charge, that little thief that we killed on the back of the island, so we have to kill 5 of them to collect the eggs so we can get out of this homeworld. And we just got the last one there. But that one specifically is really hard. So whenever we kill thieves, we try to kill them while we are in the air, because while we're in the air, we can actually get a cutscene skip while killing them. Because if we kill them on the ground, it plays this little animation of them dropping the egg and like Spyro collecting it. It takes like 5 seconds or something, but if we kill them while in the air, that cutscene just never plays. So the reason why that's a really hard supercharge is because we are jumping at a weird angle while going super fast, while trying to land on like a twig of a platform, while also killing him, while also not landing on the ground before killing him. So it's super precise. And yeah, now we're going to our next flight level. Any more donations or anything like that going on?
Absolutely. We have a $5 donation from Ado saying, whoa, let's go chaimyyyy champ. And we got a lot of people coming in to give support, especially also in chat, especially from one Toasted Cat, who is world record holder in this game. Wishing you good luck, chaimyyyy.
Oh my god, thank you.
And as a reminder, if you want the donations to go into any incentives that we have going on, as I mentioned, we do have a incentive live right now for the run that we got coming up for a short hike, which is over the ramp. We are less than $10 away from meeting that incentive, $9.99 to be more specific. So, just a reminder, if you are donating, make sure that when you're doing your donation that you hit the add incentive button that appears after you put in the donation you want to put out, and make sure to click on that incentive. Otherwise, it's not going to count towards that incentive. And as a reminder as well, all donations go to Assemble Pittsburgh.
Yay, donations. I appreciate everybody showing support to both the stream and me. I appreciate it. But now we're going into the boss level of this homeworld, which by far has the best name, Blowhard. It's just a funny name. It's stupid. Like I said, all the bosses kind of interact the same. You run at them, flame them, they go away. You do it 2 more times, you win. This level has a cycle that we're going to be trying to hit from the very beginning. It's pretty hard to hit this super fast cycle. Any mess ups will just get us a normal cycle, so we just have to kind of hope and pray. It's looking good so far. We take a damage abuse, so that way we can run into that. Unlucky champ. We had a little. This wizard's kind of fired. No! Oh no! These guys are relentless. They got some like sniper scopes or something. I swear. These little wizards are so annoying sometimes. They can just kill you on this level just because they aren't really tied to cycles. They just kind of shoot. It's annoying. Yeah.
And this is kind of the point of the run where the difficulty just starts to spike up with a lot of the enemies and the cycles, as you mentioned. It does start to get a lot tougher from this point onwards.
Next homeworld that we're about to go to has one of the scariest levels for. I guess it has two of the scariest levels for casual players, and that is Misty Bog and Treetops. Treetops because no one ever knew where to go, and Misty Bog because it is easily the level with the most aggressive enemies, and at the same time it has the most enemies. It is a
Would you like to go?
Dumb level. But that's alright. I like to call it Misty Dog instead of Misty Bog, because dogs are cute. We like dogs. And yeah, normally, if I was in a run, I would have like my gym counts on a separate screen that it can be like, oh, okay, I'm like this many gyms under or something like that. And it allows me to kind of adapt to my gym route that I have in my head and be like, okay, well, I can be fine to like skip these gyms if I really need to, or I can like, I'm pretty under, I need to collect some more gems, so I'm gonna find a way to collect extra gems. I don't actually have the notes memorized, unfortunately, but from what I understand, we're actually not like too far under, so it's not too big a deal right now. Now we're going into Terrace Village or Terrence Village. Such a cool place because OG Spyro doesn't do this level, but we do, and we get to abuse a game mechanic in the game called auto hover. So when they're remastering this game, something that wasn't in the original Spyro 1, but they wanted to take inspiration from the original Spyro 2 and 3 hover mechanic. When they made the game, they made an auto hover mechanic. So basically, if you jump across a gap and glide, if you land very close to the edge but wouldn't quite make it normally, the game actually gives you a little auto hover which propels Spyro up, which allows you to make the jump. And we use it to get on top of that torch. Normally you're not able to get on top of that torch, but if you use the like auto hover mechanic, Spyro can just land on top of it. It's also pretty precise, so hitting it first try is pretty nice. Even with like lineups, it can still be very annoying because some people swear the lineups don't work. Some people like me think the lineups always work, but getting lined up is pretty hard because it's, like I said, a very precise lineup. But we're going to be ending Terrence Village now, going to our last flight level in Wild Flight. This one is easily the hardest flight level because the cycles are really tight, and some of the enemies or like some of the collectibles we have to get in that level are just kind of in annoying places if you're doing fast cycles. So yeah, and we're gonna get this little kill on a guy we don't even touch because our aura is so strong. I'm kidding. But all fear Mustard Spyro. Mustard Spyro is the coolest Spyro. Look at those shades. He's so cool.
When they remastered this trilogy, they really did a fantastic job with like the coloring and the skyboxes. It looks really, really pretty.
Yeah, this game it's so much more colorful and in general just prettier than the original games, but granted to the original games, they were made for PlayStation 1. but I really like how vibrant the game looks in the Reignited Trilogy. And I'm going to say this, and it might be a hot take, I think the Reignited music is better than the original music. A lot of people would disagree with me. I like it though. I think I'm more nostalgic for the Reignited music, which is funny considering I played the original as a kid. But this was my very first speed game. Specifically, this category was the very first time I speedran. So I think I just like, it's nostalgic for me because of how much time I put into the game and how much, like, long ago, it was like 5 years ago almost. It's crazy to think back to then. But I love this music.
Now, for those in chat who either agree or disagree, sound off not just in the chat, but also about the hot take about Reignited's music being better than the PS1 trilogy, but also maybe sound it off in your donations. If you want to donate, make sure to type in !donate in chat. All donations received during this event benefit Assemble Pittsburgh. And as a reminder, again, if you want to meet that incentive for a short hike, well, again, $9.99 left before we meet that incentive. Make sure that when you're donating to please hit the add incentive button on the donation page. That'll give you the option to make your donation also go towards that incentive.
Let's go. I love hitting incentives. What's that incentive again?
That incentive is for a short hike run that we got coming up. It's over the ramp, so during the Boat Kids Challenge, there's a pretty funny cutscene and a side quest that I usually skip for time, but if we meet that, Lynx, our runner, will go over the ramp, and we'll see what happens to Claire and Boat Kid on the other side. So if you want to see that, again, only $9.99 away. But you know what? Let's round up. Let's make it an even $10. If you want to round up, go for a nice even number. $10 sounds pretty darn good in my opinion.
Oh my god, Kara almost killed me there. I can't believe it. These little frogs are devious little enemies. They're so cute though. Especially the Kara one. So yeah, this is like the scariest level in general in terms of like enemies. Just a load of enemies. They're all super aggressive. And they're in large clumps, so if you don't know what you're doing, you easily take hits. It's an annoying level, but we're done with the level. We're done with Misty Dog. It's over. We're going on. And we're going on to a level called Treetops, which this is the level that many casual players struggle with because they don't really know where to go. Fair enough. I didn't know where to go either when I first played. But there's also something else special about this level, and there is another supercharge. And before this most recent route, this actually used to be the hardest level in the game because of the supercharge. The supercharge is still kind of hard, but it's funny because even in today's standards, it's still considered a relatively easy supercharge. Or not relatively easy, but easier than the other two in Wizard Peak and Haunted Towers, which will be coming up in the next world. The supercharge doesn't have anything crazy hard. It's just really easy to bonk and lose your supercharge in a couple places. So just kind of avoiding those spots is what makes it a bit tricky. It's a lot easier to avoid bonking when you're not running at a super fast speed, but when you are running at a super fast speed, sometimes it can be really hard not to bonk. Yep. And this supercharge that we are about to do is what is considered the hard part, so hopefully this all goes well, champ. Okay, we missed those two spring chests, but that's... No! I can't believe this. That thief is such a troll. Okay, back up. We did it. Oh my god, I wasn't expecting to land that. Oh. I ran out of mouse pad space. Oh,
Even so, that was incredible recovery for what happened, for basically what triggered it all with that bonk. It is not easy at all to recover from that. So the fact that chaimyyyy was able to do as much as she did, that takes an incredible amount of skill to pull off.
And unfortunately, there's too many gyms over here to skip, so we have to like run all the way over here just to get them, and then Death Abuse, where we were originally going to Death Abuse. Yeah, it's pretty hard trying to get everything on that one island in a go, like a single supercharge. It helps when you have a little more mousepad space. That's on me though. Happens. It's still like hard regardless, but that's okay. We'll make up for it in Haunted Towers. We'll hit that supercharge like it's nothing. It's probably the supercharge I've practiced the most, simply so I don't have a terrible showing. But now we're going into the boss of this homeworld, Metalhead. And this is actually the only boss in the game that acts differently than all the other bosses. This is the only boss that we ourselves do not attack. The way this boss works is there are 2 phases, and both the phases are the same. There are these lightning poles on the ground in the phase 1 room and phase 2 room. You basically have to break all of them to send Metalhead from phase 1 to phase 2, and then to beat Metalhead in phase 2. And they can, every now and then they will light up, and if you are unlucky enough, you hit them while they are electrified, you take damage. So we're hoping for a good phase 1, and also, like I said, this is also a boss that we just will not be beating. With this current gym route, it's actually unnecessary for us to go into phase 2 and get all the gems back there, just because it takes a lot of time, and that is time that we don't want to spare. But we actually got like a pretty good phase 1 cycle there. He also attacks you while you're trying to do all that. He can shoot lasers, he can throw monkeys at you as well. And yeah, that is going to be the end of Metalhead, otherwise known as Jank Man in the community, because that level is notorious for just completely breaking. It's very good at just like things not working how they're supposed to.
Are you ready to go?
There are like certain animations he's supposed to do going from like different phases, and if you beat phase 1 at the right time, you can actually have him like just stand still. You can have monkeys rolling in place, which they're not supposed to be able to do. You can literally have him attack you when he's nowhere near you on his way to phase 2. You can also have gems despawn or like clip through the ground, clip through the walls. It's just a really bad, like poorly built level, but it's really funny at how it always happens at the worst times. You never really experience it in this category. You only really experience Jank Man in like the completionist category, which is called 120, which is also a really cool category that has even cooler supercharges. Yeah, now we're going into the hardest level in the run, Haunted Towers. This one has a pretty tricky supercharge simply for one jump, and there's also another jump we have to do to get to the supercharge that is easily the hardest jump that we do in this run. So hopefully it goes well. We're going to try it one time on this FPS. If we miss it, I will turn down the FPS to 30 FPS just to hit the jump, and then we'll switch back to 50 FPS. I don't like switching to 30 FPS because it doesn't look good, but I also like to not be stuck on a jump for like 4 minutes. So yeah, this jump's pretty hard because you have to jump at a certain angle, and then you have to catch what's called a wall glide against this wall. We actually got it! Oh. And wall gliding is basically you glide parallel with a wall, and then you also kind of like push Spyro into it to gain height in certain places. So yeah, hitting that first try on 50 FPS is pretty good. And we actually hit the supercharge jump. That's very impressive. That jump itself is easily what makes this like the hardest supercharge. Everything else looks scary, but it's actually pretty easy. with like a tiny bit of practice. But that one jump is super precise. You have a very small area that you can land on, and if you don't land on it, you die. If you jump off of that small bridge to get back to the main portion of the level, if you jump off it in like the wrong spot, you die. It's just like, it's a very unforgiving trick, or jump, I should say.
By the way, can we give it up for chaimyyyy on that level? I cannot stress how skillful that was to make the jump first try and then actually execute the supercharge uninterrupted. I have seen personally world record paces be lost due to that level. So what chaimyyyy just did was something absolutely amazing.
Yeah. I'm not gonna lie. That's that level, when we added it to this newer route, I unironically kind of stopped playing the game for a tiny bit because I was like, wow, I don't know if I want to just deal with paces and constantly dying to that level. Because even with like a good bit of practice then, it was still really hard, but me and Toasted Cat kind of found like a more consistent way to hit the one supercharged jump like months ago, and since then it's actually been a not terrible supercharge. It's still super easy to mess up that one jump, but it's a lot more consistent than ever now, but it's still a run killer for sure. So yeah, it's pretty cool that we actually hit it we hit everything right in a marathon setting. So I'm pretty happy about that. We don't need that chest. That chest is silly. We don't want those gems. But goodbye, puppies. Oh, I hate this level because you have to like kill the little puppies and the little turtles. So I'm just like, oh no, I like them. Yeah. By the way, that was Dark Passage. That's like one of the longest levels in the game, casually. But we only from now on, because the last homeworld was the last time we need dragons saved as a requirement. We don't collect any more dragons. This last homeworld is specifically dedicated to getting the remaining gems, which when we entered this homeworld, we had just under 5,000. So this whole homeworld is just dedicated to collecting the rest of the 1,000 to get into the last homeworld. And our gem count is looking really good. We can actually skip a good bit of gems. Oh, but math is hard. I can't math right now. We're just going to skip a few gems, because why the heck not, champ?
Now, can I chime in really quickly? Because we have a $5 donation from Chickadee saying, suit or charge?
Hi, Vivi. That's actually... Chickadee Vivi is actually a runner of the game, or used to be a runner of the game, and they're actually the one who kind of discovered, really, or like, they were the first to implement KBM charges into any SRT run, and they're the ones who also, like, she, like, basically popularized the idea of using KBMs for supercharging, because she also exclusively ran the game using keyboard and mouse. Minus skipping the final cutscene because you need to do that on controller for whatever reason. But yeah, she's always got the silly puns, soup or charge. Last week she was telling me she went to, or like the week before, she went to like this farmer's market and there was a place called Jake's Bakery, and she's like, yeah, Jakery. She always says the silliest things. But yep, so now we have all the gems that we need to get into this last homeworld, plus an extra 15 there.
Are you ready to go?
And now we're going to do the last trick of the run, which allows us to skip 2 levels and go straight into the boss. So basically, this homeworld, you're supposed to beat 1 level, then you can unlock the 2nd level, then you beat that 2nd level to unlock the 3rd level, and that 3rd level is the boss level. But we're going to skip the first 2 levels with a little trick we like to call Coveless. This trick is really hard to explain, so I'll try to do my best, but I need to hit it first because I actually need to listen for an audio cue. So hopefully this all goes well.
Hi, Spyro. Hi, Spyro. Hi, Spyro. Hi, Spyro.
Need a lift?
Uh-oh, uh-oh, uh-oh. And that works, right? Oh, we missed it. I accidentally hit the wrong button. That happens. But that's okay. We'll get another try at it. Yeah. So basically, the trick is kind of a it's like another trick called fairy storage. So if you hit charge, continue, and you hit the triangle button to skip the dragon cutscene all at the same time while having the fairy text box up,
Hi,
Spyro actually
Hi, Spyro.
gains
Spyro.
movement, but he
Hi,
only
Spyro.
sprints in one direction, which, hang on.
Need a lift?
This one should work. Nice. So yeah, basically Spyro gains movement, but we can't really control him because he runs in one direction. But we have him run into the balloonist at the start of the homeworld, so we can gain access to his menu, which we can then send ourselves to the first homeworld. And if we hit skip dragon cutscene because it's replaying, if we skip that cutscene at the right time, we actually gain control of Spyro again while he's on his way up with the balloon. And it allows us to kind of like fly towards the last level, and also flat Spyro. We love flat Spyro. But yeah, you basically just fly towards the level's direction, and although everything is invisible and looks deloaded, the level portals are surprisingly still loaded in, and that's what allows us to fly into them. But if you do it too late, you actually will soft lock, so there is a certain window where you can hit that, and we hit that window. The trick is actually pretty consistent. And now we're going for Nasty Wall Glide. This is actually a trick I found. It is completely useless because it loses time, but it's the ultimate swag strat because we beat Nasty. And we'll pair it with this Wall Glide, because this Wall Glide's pretty dang silly too. Yeah. We'll just wait for him. Bam. And the dang jam. And... Boop. And now we are about to come up on time on this last hit. And yeah, this is SRT any percent NBS. And 3, 2, 1, GG's.
GG's, chaimyyyy. What a fantastic
joke, Snork.
run.
Oh, we did it, champ. Oh my god. I also love the credits in this game. They're so cute. But yeah, I say something or you say something?
No, absolutely. The floor is yours if you have any
Oh.
final words you want to say.
Yeah, so yeah, like I said, that was SRT. I really appreciate Steel City Speedsters for allowing me to run, especially being the opening run. Really cool. I appreciate everyone in chat. Appreciate all the people who donated as well. Did we hit the incentive? Close to it?
We are still very close to that incentive, so we're only less than $10 away from meeting that incentive for a short hike.
Yeah, let's just less than $10. We got this. We got a little bit of time till that next run starts. And then shout out to all of the Spyro community, SRT and OG and everything in between. A lot of cool people. Like I said, a few people in chat came in. Toasted Cat is probably one, if not the best runner of this game, one of the best runners of the game. And I would say, like, overall, maybe the best runner in this game. Super cool, one of my closest friends. And it's also my boyfriend. Oh my god. And yeah, that's Spyro. And I'm chaimyyyy. I got nothing else.
Well, once again, everyone, give it up for chaimyyyy. Again, a fantastic run of Spyro Reignited Trilogy, 80% NBS. What a way to kick off Steel City Speedsters at PGX. And that's just only the appetizer, because we still have a lot of fantastic runs coming up. And for those watching on Twitch, we are going to very briefly, I cannot stress the briefness of it, we're going to turn off stream for just a quick second, but afterwards we will be right back up, and we will have plenty of great runs coming up. So, we're going to take a short break, and we'll be right back.